Good morning, members. We are back from recess. It's 10 a.m. and the Committee of Ways and Means would continue the budget hearing with the requests made by the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs. We still have a quorum from yesterday to conduct our business today. So with that, we'll continue on and hear from the department's request. And with that, we have the resident director, Ms. Bonnie Borja, no? Yes, okay. And with that, I'll now yield to you with a little technical difficulties. A short recess. And we have the resident director, Ms. Bonnie Borja, to present your request to this body. So, Ms. Borja, I now yield to you with your opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Chairman and members of the House Ways and Means Committee. My name is Bonnie Borja. Thank you for the opportunity to present Tinian DCCA's budget request for fiscal year 2025. As the resident director, I have carefully assessed the financial needs of the three divisions under Tinian DCCA and have outlined the budget requirements in our budget submission packet to ensure its successful execution. At the end of the hearing, I will be submitting the detailed breakdown of our budget request for the committee's review and quick reference. Each item in the budget request has been carefully considered and is essential to the success of our department. I have provided justifications for each expense to demonstrate the necessity and impact of the proposed expenditures. Furthermore, I have ensured that our budget request is in line with our organizational goals and priorities. I kindly request your review and approval of this budget request. Your support is crucial in enabling us to achieve our objectives and serve our community effectively. I believe that the newly confirmed Secretary Robalman said it best, and I quote, "DCCA is front and center and is the last line of defense from despair." DCCA, being one of the largest, if not the largest department, encompasses a wide range of functions aimed at supporting individuals and families in various aspects of their lives. To thrive at this role, an employee must possess unwavering passion and commitment. The services provided by DCCA serve as a critical safety net, providing support to those in need and working to create a more equitable and compassionate society for all. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today, and I'm fully prepared to respond to any questions you may have and will strive to provide the best answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I guess the main question here, and I guess it stems back from last fiscal year, and it's regarding the utilities, and when the power was shut down here in the island of Tinian. So, with regards to, and in line with that, um, the department is addressing and ensuring that uh, the utilities is being taken care of here, because we have the aging on the year, and that's our main concern, is the office of aging, and ensure that our manomkus are getting their food and so forth. So can you update the committee on that?
Yes, just one moment. Okay, this one. Okay, thank you, Chairman. So with the Office on Aging, sorry, so is our water, the outstanding water bill is about 2,468. That's, yes, 2,468. Um, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I'll let Miss Lucy
Yeah, so I guess
update on.
I just want to get an update as to uh, we're making sure that the office in Saipan is ensuring that it doesn't happen again, that all these outstandings and current are being addressed monthly.
Okay, good morning, Chairman. With regards to the aging, total outstanding for water as of July 27 is 2,639.45. Now, that's the metered water. Prepaid meter, we still have a credit balance of 1,029.87, meaning 27 days left. And I did remind Director Walters that, we're seeking their assistance once again because they
Right.
have 27 days left.
Yes.
So we are keeping them apprised of how the balance goes and
Okay. Yeah. One day shutdown, it affects everybody's, and that's what's our main concern. I remember that clearly last year, and I was wondering, and I guess what the chief had mentioned is that just 2 days. I mean, we need to get that clear, and we understand there's a new secretary, and I'm sure he will be addressing the needs here, and ensure that it doesn't happen again. So that'll be one. My other question is basically, in all the division under DCCA, the FDs are current, and none of them has left the office or the division.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. So we actually have two FTEs that was zeroed out and eliminated on the governor's proposal, and we are asking if that can be reinstated.
Under which division?
So one is under HPO, which is a
Okay.
HPO technician, I'm sorry, HPO trainee, and the other is with the Office on Aging, general maintenance. And if I may
Sure.
just bring it up also, we don't have a NAP budget. NAP is under SIPAN, but we ask also that if they can provide an FTE, since the one that was hired this last year, the contract will expire in September 30 of this year.
So you're seeking to continue the contract.
We're
Oh, you said this year is expiring this year, or
yes, September
so
30 at the end of the fiscal
you're
year.
requesting that we continue that FTE.
If we can ask SIPAN to,
Okay.
since it's funded under SIPAN.
Okay, so it's under Saipan DC. Okay. Thank you. I have no further. I'll open it up to the members. Leader Sir Nicholas.
Director, just to verify the one you're requesting for the aging, what is that position again?
That's general maintenance.
Journeyman. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Sir Nicholas. Anyone? With regards to the food stamp program, so every month someone, yeah, I remember every month someone comes here from Saipan and distributes, or they just melt over the coupon booklets and then you distribute it here. How does that? Is that still the same?
Yes, Chair.
The process.
Since COVID, they would send the Pelican down with the coupons, but just starting in June, they started sending two personnel down to distribute.
So it's Saipan that's distributing here.
Correct. So their personnel would come the day of the distribution and distribute that day.
So as of date, how many, I guess, recipients are receiving here in the island?
So we have an average of 194 households for now.
It's approximately 194.
Yes, households.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any Rep. Marissa?
So you mentioned you have 194 NAP recipients receiving the subsistence, and that's being distributed through Saipan and then to you.
No, so it used to be prepared and pre-packed in Saipan, sent down to us a few days prior to distribution, and we would just distribute them to the clients on Tinian.
But you guys don't have a NAP employee now.
We do now, so.
You do now.
Or,
So in terms of accuracy, do you actually trust that someone is distributing your share and then giving it to you guys and you guys just sign off on this process?
maybe Miss Lucy can speak more, but we haven't had, our books have always been balanced.
Yeah, no, and that's, my thing is that there's a sense of autonomy that should happen, right? These are your community residents. And what we're trying to establish is that Tinian, knows the recipients. They should be the ones involved in the distribution of that, because if there's any inaccuracy, right, it should just be on one person, not 5 people touching the same thing. And then by the time it gets down to you, where's the accountability there, right? It's going to always end up saying, oh, well, you're the receiver, Tinian. Where is $10 in NAP subsistence for your one individual, right? And it doesn't seem like a lot, but $10 is a lot right now for these days. So can you just take me through that process? Because one of the things that we're really trying to, accomplish here is some sense of autonomy so that Tinian is responsible for Tinian, right? In terms of how everything is being channeled down. You're a part of the grant that's being written to begin with,
Yes.
with 194. So you already should know for every recipient what is earmarked for the entire distribution for the year. That should be given to you guys one shot, I think, right? But I don't know how the distribution, if they draw down every month and then give it to you for this month, right? We don't know, but that's a process now we need to find out, because if it's given one lump sum, then Tinian should be earmarked their one lump sum. And NAP, your NAP officer, who I believe your mayor had requested that we should FTE one NAP officer here to hold that responsibility for the people of Tinian. So I think that's my only concern. But ma'am, please just take me through that process. How does that work?
Okay, and I completely agree with you, Marissa. Beginning March 2020, it was, they were just sending the coupons down, pre-packed, and then we distribute them. But before we issue, because like you said, we know our people best. We know who started working, who quit working. So whenever we know there's going to be a change in the benefits, we hold it back and we inform the caseworkers, this is what's going on. And there has never been an issue as far as balancing. everything is accounted for. Tinian, in fact, we got commended for always balancing our books and returning what needs to be returned. They have started taking charge of the distribution in June and July, so that'll be 2 months beginning this year. So with the first one, it was really, really chaotic because the coupons were not pre-packed, and we call that pulling, and that's how they do it in Saipan, which is fine when you have the system in front of you and you can access last-minute changes. But in this case, they don't have access. So, of course, there's going to be issues of over-issuance, under-issuance, and once you get those things out, it's very hard to collect. I mean, they can make the adjustment, but it's just, to me, our goal should be to work smarter, not necessarily work harder. So we try and prevent those things from happening beforehand. The coupons that they left in June, I refused to distribute the next day because I wanted their reports before I sign off that this is how much is left with me. I wanted to make sure it balanced. So about a day before, because they actually went back and had to distribute again in Saipan, so I had to wait like a day and a half until they had time to get me those reports. So I did my part, and then when it balanced, and I continued with those that were late or were not able to be distributed on distribution day. With this recent distribution for July, again, I wasn't there because I was out ill, but I have another person that's trained. I'm training to be able to do that work. We noticed that it looks like they might, like for example, there's a coupon denomination that we might be short. I mean, now they're going to have to figure out again how to, and those are the kind of things that I'm tired of having to scream, keep on repeating myself. Bring what you need to bring, and that's going to be on your side as a cashier. Take back whatever is left, and you balance your reports, return it to the vault. Give me a new inventory where there's 2 cashiers from Saipan, you're pulling from here, it's just chaotic. I mean, when you're reporting, to me, it's just unnecessary time spent on having to reconcile this report. But if you take back whatever you have left, you should already know how much it costs to distribute on Tinian. I mean, you should have a figure, and then give me a clean inventory, whether 30,000, and then I'll be responsible for that. Once it's done, return it. There's just so many things that things could, go smoothly, but I mean, you just gave us one, and this employee, as young as she is, no formal training from Saipan, unlike previous employees, unlike myself, where I went up there and actually went through the training. So she's just shadowing and learning, but even the Saipan staff were amazed that she was able to pick up all of those knowledge and skills without. It will be really sad to lose her, because I fear, I don't know, hopefully we'll find somebody like her again, but if not Saipan to carry that FTE, I mean, you just gave us for a whole year, and then now you're saying there's no funds for it. So regardless where it's funded, we really need somebody to, and it's just so much easier if they'll let us take charge. And we're not saying we're not going to help. I just feel that they should hire their own people, and it's a program, and I'm pretty sure Tinian is included in the justification for grants. So if you can hire people there, then give us the people we need here. That's all. Thank you.
And thank you. That really does make sense. So now that we know that there's chaos there, and the recipient now has to wait because of a chaotic type of issue caused by internal function, right, as opposed to the recipient. What do you say to that person? Because they're entitled to that on the day of disbursement, not tomorrow, not 2 days later, but the day disbursement is supposed to be dispersed. So you, as a resident head, what do you tell your recipient?
Yes. In fact, just yesterday, again, I think it was Monday, it was austerity Monday, and, we're affected by the austerity other than the NAP employee, but being a supervisor, and I want to come in and make sure the coupons are accounted for, so I had to turn her away. She wanted to be distributed. I said, I'm sorry. Until I get these things to balance and get the reports from Saipan, then I will not, because that will be my neck.
Okay, thank you. And we'll just keep it short and simple. Chairman, I think in terms of this committee, obviously that is a big problem when we are not dispersing federal funds that are due to recipients on the day that it should be dispersed. That is problematic, and that might be a cause for jeopardizing the grant, because we should not be holding their money when the day of disbursement should be given to these recipients. We would obviously, I guess, even through our committee or the JGO committee, we will look into that. That's a big problem. And the fact that the NAP grant encompasses the Commonwealth, which includes Tinian and Rhoda, that FTE is somewhere there. Because it's a service. You need the body to do and complete the function. So I guess for me, Chairman, I'm going to yield my time. I think I've got the information I wanted to see. And it's very sad that you have to tell your recipients that. But in any case, the next time that does happen, I urge you to tell your recipients to draft a formal complaint, because advocacy starts with themselves. And that data is very important when you're looking towards managing an office that is heavily reliant on federal funds. And I don't think the federal government would appreciate such a neglect internally, because their recipients paid for that. I mean, we're taxpayers. They also paid to be part of that system if they need it, right? So I urge you that in any event, should you come across this problem again, I mean, I know it's going to take us some time to figure that out, get the proper SOPs and the documents from DCCA. But in any event, I urge you to urge your community that should that ever happen again, to please write a formal complaint, because that is when you see things happening, when people start to advocate and desire improved systems for themselves and holding the government accountable for their actions. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Chairman. I yield my time.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. Rep. Angelo?
Thank you, Chairman. This is more of just a clarification. You mentioned you needed to reinstate 2 FTEs. That's one under HPO training and aging and general maintenance. But now I'm hearing an FTE for the NAP as well, or?
Well, NAP is funded under Saipan. We don't have a business unit on Tinian for NAP, so we're asking if you can address it at maybe perhaps the Saipan,
You're saying they took the FTE away, or they unfunded it?
She was notified that her contract ends September 30 this year.
Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Angelo. Any further? Just one last question from me, and with regards to, I don't know if you can answer this, but if a person is interested in applying like low-income home energy assistance, do they apply here, or do they have to apply in Saipan?
We try to forward it to Saipan. We've been reaching out to have them do an outreach here. They don't have a staff for that, and I believe now we have one client for the low-income home energy program. But if we had outreaches and
So
people are aware,
it's not being extended here to the community
It hasn't been lately.
Okay.
I think within the last fiscal year and early part of this year, I did inquire and they said, there's no funds. We'll let you know when funds are available. So finally, one just got approved. So only one client for Tinian, and we've been telling them, we need outreach. You guys need to reach out to these people and let them know about the program and also hire an employee,
Right.
just like any other of the federally funded programs.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get seek clarification because we don't see how do we extend assistance out here. There's no one coming out here. Does the resident of Tinian have to fly over, spend their money, and then apply only to we need someone, I guess, a body here that needs and they apply for the grant. So I'm not sure. I will clarify this with the secretary when we return. Um, Home delivery meals still, with regards to aging, that goes out still.
Yes, so we have about 75 clients that receive meals daily.
Okay. Thank you, Arlie. Any further question? Rep Flores?
Thank you, Chairman. So 75 clients, on average, how much is each client afforded per meal under
Right.
this grant?
Okay, so Rep. Flores, I don't have that information at this moment. The last information I got was about $6.95 per meal.
So we'll just factor in all the transportation, gas, so it's about like $10, just about, maybe 15. So my question is, I do understand you have a cook for Department of an office, administrative officer, and you have a cook 1 and 2.
Yes, correct, Ms. Ray.
I don't know how, I mean, I guess for me, is the food purchased here, made here, or are you relying again on Saipan to give you cases of
Yeah,
chicken and cases of ribs? How does this work?
Both ways, Representative Flores. Saipan does some frozen, and then they also purchase some here. And previously, the meals were catered for the Mononco. So
Okay, so in a month, how many times are goods transported from Saipan to Tinian?
it used to be monthly, Reps. I would have to get that information again.
Okay. So for this month, were there any needs that had to be transported from Saipan to Tinian in order for Tinian Aging to conduct its mission and provide the services to their clients?
For June, yes.
For June,
Yes.
what was on it?
It's usually frozen.
Frozen?
Yes.
And you have to put in this request?
Usually the supervisor at the aging center.
And how fast or how slow is that approved?
Well, I believe Saipan has like an open account for that stuff. Usually within a day or two, they would send it on their boat.
So you guys have no open account here to provide for your needs here? You
Yes,
have to
Tinian
get
does.
some there, some here.
Tinian does. They usually
Okay.
for the vegetables, so here and some frozen too.
So in the event that you don't get the supports, because internally, again, with procedures that take time, what happens when you cannot provide? You don't have the supplies to provide your clients food. Do you ever encounter a time that you take money out of your pocket so that you can ensure that these clients get their services?
Yes, Representative. The supervisor has come out of pocket.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Would the mayor be able to reimburse that?
I don't know.
No, in that scenario, right, take account of what that is. because at no time should anybody who works for the government reach into their pocket to provide a service for their clients that's already supported by grant funding. That's a problem. And if you can't get reimbursed, that's also problematic because now you're taking from your household to provide because you love your people so much, but that you get nothing in return except for the satisfaction that you do because you love your people, but you take from your home. And that's not fair. That should never be the case. Okay, so I guess we really need to figure out how this works internally. Obviously, there's some procedural breakdown that's happening, which is causing chaos. I just wanted to ask that question. So this boat that DLNR was talking about yesterday, that boat also transports and receives stuff for aging or no?
No,
No,
Saipan
okay.
office has.
Has that? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. Any further? Okay, being there's none, we did hear your request with regards to the two additional NOPs and to clarify and see that one FT under NAP program if they're going to extend it beyond September. We will sit down with DCCA next week and go over. I think they're scheduled next week. Go over the concerns here, and as well as to ensure that the outstanding balances and the utilities is taken care of, so it doesn't happen again. And with that, RD, I offer you back to you for your closing remark. Thank you. If you have any.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. If I may just go back to NAP, since they were sending employees down starting June to distribute, the issue we are running into also is they come at the end of the month, they receive their benefits, but they can't use it until the first of the month. So the benefits for July, we distributed this last Friday, June 28th, but they're not able to use the coupons until July 1st. So we used to distribute the day of, or the first business day of the month.
Okay.
So that's just something I wanted to bring
Yes,
up.
duly noted.
Thank you.
We'll clarify that too, as well. Thank you. So if you have any closing remarks, you may do so now. If not,
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, if we may.
Chairman, so pretty much, I just wanted to make sure I bring this up to your attention, please, the committee. Utility arrears. This was one of the things that we tried to get into the Munis system, but we kept getting rejected, unfortunately. Our outstanding utility obligations as of July 2nd is $87,028.99. So I honestly don't know. We really need to try and figure out how to pay this down because, like I said previously, the penalty and interest keeps accruing. And in all fairness, I wanted to bring up with HPO Saipan, they assisted us with 2,674.80 in communications, 1,800 for the HPO, fuel. Unfortunately, the car is broken, so now they're assessing it for repairs. Aging, as of July, Saipan Aging has provided $10,000 for a prepaid meter and $327.04 for water. So, I mean, there has been some help, but not just wouldn't even budge.
okay. No, we'll clarify that for you. I'm glad that the HBO and the aging is doing a lot more now than what's previously done. So I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, being there's none further, did you want to do a closing remark, or you're okay?
Thank you, Chairman and committee members.
Thank you, RD Director Borja, and thank you for making yourself present today. We'll take a 1 minute recess so we can have the Department of Public Works up next. Thank you, members. We are back, and before us, we will have the listen to the budget requests will be made by the Department of Public Works, and I believe we have acting department head Borja. Uh, Before us, just clarification. I remember we were here last year, and Mr. Antalan is not on island. Is that correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's on a medical leave as of right
So
now.
it's been medical leave ever since.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, I'll you for your opening remarks, and please state I guess, the challenges and the requests that you're going to I guess, ask us. I did speak with the secretary, and I do understand a little, but I want you to, I guess, ask for the record. Thank you.
Good morning and Hafaday, honorable members of the Budget Committee, and welcome to Tinian. My name is Joaquin Borja, the Assistant Resident Department Head for the Department of Public Works. And DPW is responsible for maintaining all right-of-ways, managing our landfill, and enforcing the CNMI building code, all of which relate to keeping our communities safe and protecting our environment. Given our function as a department, our priorities will always be to strive for adequate staffing, the ability to maintain and repair our heavy and light equipment, and access to fuel. The absence or lack of any one of these areas will render our department unable to properly maintain our right-of-ways and unable to protect our environment. So I would like to go ahead and highlight our biggest challenge during fiscal year 2024, which was the filling of our vacancies or positions that became vacant during FY 2024. So to start off with the solid waste division, we had a total of 4 operator positions that were all funded in 2024. As of this fiscal year, according to the budget that was submitted, 1 is eliminated and 2 are not funded or funded at $1. The one that was eliminated was equipment operator 4. So in the process of submitting our announcements and in our efforts to try to fill the position, we received information that all positions that are vacant at that time will be, I guess, not funded. But we ran into a journey with trying to fill the positions. So to start off with this equipment operator 4, the RFP announcement was routed in September 2023. The announcement was opened in February 2024, which is about 161 days to announce. So eliminating about 30 days of weekends, that's 130 some days until the announcement was published. We then received the eligibility memo on May 2024, which was 2 months after the closing of the announcement. We conducted the interview in June, immediately after we received the memo of May 30, and we selected a candidate. And then we were informed that this position was eliminated from the budget because of its current status of being unfilled. But that lengthy delay placed us in that position. It caused us to be labeled as, you didn't fill that position, so therefore we're going to eliminate it. And then moving on to another equipment operator 4. The RFP announcement was routed in January 2024. The announcement was published in March 2024, about 58 days later. We then received a memo stating that there were no qualified applicants for that position on May 31st. We sent for a re-announcement on June 10, and we were hoping to get another announcement, but we were informed that the position was funded at $1 because of its status. That again was another delay in trying to fill that position. The next position is operator 2. Initially, this vacancy was announced in January 2023. An applicant was selected, but the NOPA took about almost a year when it was finally approved in March 2024. When we offered the selected candidate the position, he turned it down and he said he found a job at Black Micro. So it was unfortunate for that delay, which prevented us to hire a candidate who was really qualified for the position. He had skills in repairing equipment, and unfortunately, competition got the best of us, and he moved on to Black. So we requested for that vacancy to be re-announced, and it was in March 2024. And then we received a memo from OPM that there were no applicants who signed up for the position. So at this point, I guess the Black Micro has been really attracting a lot of potential candidates out there in the public. And then moving on to the solid waste supervisor, the landfill supervisor. The announcement was routed in October 2023, and it was announced in February 2024, which took about 148 days to be announced. We received a memo, eligibility list, and we interviewed a candidate and selected a candidate in June 2024, and we sent the RFPA to on its way for routing for approval. But we found out that the position was funded at $1. Just to remind the members of the committee, this position and other positions, the other operator positions are required based on the administrative order from DEQ or BECQ. As of right now, we only have one operator at the landfill. I've dedicated one of our staff to be there with that lone operator at the landfill, and we periodically cycle out our roads and grounds employees, which also hampers our operations in the right-of-ways. So that's for the solid waste side. Moving on to the roads and grounds division, we were excited that last fiscal year, the legislature provided us an additional 2 equipment operators for the roads and grounds. At that time, we had 5 positions, which on and off, which later some of the positions were vacated. But we were lucky enough to quickly fill those positions. But due to the circumstances and how the budget was submitted, we had 2 of those positions that were provided to us last fiscal year eliminated for this fiscal year. And that also comes with a journey. So for equipment operator 2, the position was vacated and routing of the vacancy was conducted on May 23. It was then announced on November 2023, about 6 months since we initiated the routing. We then received an eligibility list 3 months after closing of that announcement, and we selected a candidate, and we sent it off for routing, but we were informed that it was eliminated due to failure to fill the position. However, we had no control over filling that position as it goes out for routing. The second operator position is operator 1. This was announced and closed on November 2023. The eligibility list, again, 3 months after closing, we received it. We interviewed and selected a candidate, but the candidate, I guess, rescinded his interest in the position because he found a job at Black Micro once again. So it was unfortunate again that we lost this opportunity to fill these positions that would greatly assist us in our roads and grounds. With 5 at the moment, it might seem adequate, but given the length and number of road shoulders that we have and the anticipation of the agriculture homesteads, we're going to be facing some big challenges. And it's not just the road shoulders, it's also the repair of potholes, signs, flooding, and whatnot. So in closing, I just wanted to share our experience with trying to fill these positions, and I just wanted to assure you guys that we never meant to fail in filling these positions, and we hope that there is another opportunity for the legislature to assist us. And we hope that the process can be looked at in terms of routing, because it really jeopardizes the opportunity for all of our departments to fill these positions and provide the necessary services to the public. Just for scale, Rhoda has about, in the roads and grounds, or in their solid waste, I believe. So in the roads and grounds, they have 10 equipment operators. They have 2 grounds maintenance, I believe mechanics, 1 heavy equipment mechanic, 2 trade specialists, and 2 construction inspectors. So rightfully so, these 10 equipment operators for the field, including their mechanics, are very valuable, and I wouldn't rob Rhoda of their needs of these 10. But if we were to say that 10 is necessary for Rhoda, I believe 10 is also necessary for Tinian, given the construction and the activities that are going on at this moment and are expected to increase in the future, the very near future. So with that, I'm available for any questioning and answer.
Thank you for that, RD Bora. Eh, like mentioned earlier, I did have that conversation with the Secretary of DPW, and we're looking to ways to reinstate those positions back. I'm not sure if it's the issue is I guess the number of people applying here in Tinian, and then you have a big construction of defense going on, and the competition is very steep. Looking at the I guess the salary that the operators are making is way under, and it looks a lot better to be in the private, I guess, industry right now rather than in government. So that's something that we need to look at too, to also ensure, because if we're only looking at one or two employees for the whole entire island, it doesn't make sense. It is a big ground to cover. I did drive around yesterday and assess some of the roads, and the equipment here and all those movements is taking a toll on the roads right now. So I did notice that. I have no further questions with that. Let me recognize Rep. Angelo, then Rep. Manny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Director, for your appearance this morning. I really do hope that we can fill in those potholes by Representative San Nicolas's house. I don't know if the insurance is going to cover our vehicle, but anyways, just to kind of touch base on our discussion yesterday, we kind of briefly discussed I forget what that grant is called, but it's through EPA. And when we get back to Saipan, we will verify that funding, because from what I heard, we can use it to hire personnel for the meantime, despite the completion of the master plan. So we will look into that to see if we can fill in that solid waste supervisor position, right? And then on the other hand, Mayor kind of mentioned about your developer's tax fee, right? Percent. And I'm not sure if you guys have a plan reviewer on island or under building code.
Like a project plan or a construction plan reviewer?
Yeah, they can assess the developer's tax fees and stuff like that. Or do you guys go through site plan for the whatever projects you guys have?
Or as far as assessing the revenues that the government has collected?
Correct.
As of now, we only have Munis to look at.
Okay, no, but what I mean is a plan reviewer that can assess the total cost of the construction.
Okay.
That assesses the 2%.
So in the past, prior to the departure of our only building inspector, I believe he's been entering because it's just 2% of the total cost of construction, but to validate that, I believe it's just him with his ability to assess that, if I'm not
Or
mistaken.
does it go through site plan for assessment? And how long does that duration take? Because you guys mentioned yesterday that you guys are losing out on all these fees, yeah? Or it's taking too long to assess?
Well, so we actually brought this issue up last year, and we actually brought it up to the governor. And so there's a question out there and the Secretary of Public Works. So normally the developer's tax assessment, I think the statute or the regulation requires finance to do it, and then they jointly do it together with DPW Saipan. The question is that true, these contractors are not being assessed developer's tax. We recommended to the governor, DPW, and finance to look deeper into the situation and basically assess the developer's tax. And if there's an issue with DOD as to whether they should be assessed the developer's tax, then they would work it out after that. But from our standpoint, developer's tax should be assessed to the contractors of the DOD projects.
That's correct. Subcontract, yes.
Contractors and the subcontractors, correct. So obviously, if DOD is doing the project themselves, like Red Horse is doing up at Northfield, then they would not be subjected to developer's tax. That's clear. But the question as to whether contractors for DOD projects are assessed developer's tax, well, I mean, there's two different opinions on that. I think we should take the opinion that, yes, they should be assessed developer's tax, because our statute says that they should be assessed developer's tax. Now, the federal attorneys for DOD might question that, but I still think that because of the magnitude of these projects, that the CNMI should prioritize figuring out that situation with DOD in terms of the assessment of developer's tax.
Thank you. And then the FTE for your building inspector, I think we mentioned that when we get back home, we're to see how we can fill in that position, because currently I was told that you're going to have 2 inspectors from Saipan coming out to Tinian to conduct all these inspections, correct?
The information I got is 1 inspector, and the first visit is next week.
Next week. And who's covering that cost?
I believe DPW.
DPW, okay. Thank you.
But we do have an issue with that because we were told that, obviously it has to comply with their schedule and their availability. Unfortunately, we have people, I had a call yesterday from a client who needs to start a project. Actually, we had 2 calls yesterday. One was allowed to continue, now we have to address the other one. So the problem that we have is when they're going to send people from Saipan and we have to comply with their schedule and not the schedule of the needs of the community here, it just doesn't work. So, and especially when you're talking about construction, right? To pause that. The situation over there yesterday with Triple J, they would have had 25 people idle waiting for that, for the inspector to come over. And the amount of cost that would be tremendous. And then you take it to the smaller person, an individual who's just trying to make an extension to their house. Now that person has to wait 1 whole week. And if they're ready to move, why is it the burden of that person or the municipality or community? Because Saipan needs to be, we have to comply with the schedule. So obviously our recommendation is, 1, of course, fill the position on Tinian if possible, but 2, have the training start immediately for the people here. Our director, we could go through a crash course training, because as you guys can see from yesterday, it's not slowing down. We're having more and more people that are going to need this service, and to rely on the staff from Saipan to come over just won't work. It just won't.
And thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I see the importance of, like you said, you have a lot of ongoing projects currently. As an inspector, you have to be familiar with the codes, the current codes, which is, I believe, is 2018 that we're currently following. And it takes years to familiarize yourself with that. So I don't know if we can, I guess this is a really serious matter right now. I don't know if Saipan, yeah, I think it's best to be physically on the site, but maybe perhaps we can station an inspector here on Tinian for, let's say, perhaps a month, just need to find that funding source. But yes, I see the importance, and we will look into this matter and make sure that we get the next inspector properly trained.
So Representative Camacho, one of the from yesterday's discussion with our deputy mayor's office, who can be temporarily assigned. As you know, we've had an engineer sit in, and we lost him. He went back to Saipan, working USDA, and we do have during his time here, we do have a small a group of folks that work project management team. We call it project management team under the mayor's office, and they do go around with him over the time when he was here, and now we're recommending one of them to take that course that was offered by DPW, and we'll send them up to Saipan and get trained. They said like a week or 2 training to upgrade, but he's familiar with what is the nitty-gritty spots to look out based on what team has trained them to look out for. And like you said, construction here, although there's many, but they're big. So then when you're like what Alan said, repairing and extending a portion of the house, it's hard to find contractors at that small new project. The people that are out here are multi-big projects. One house, it's not an extension, and a lot of this they do it on a part-time. I'm talking about only for personal housing, and that's a challenge because they will not wait for you to say na wait until the inspector comes in next week, they will move on. This small group of people that come in every weekend and do jobs for you, they're very hard to get.
You're right. Oh, I guess that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Camacho. Rep. Castro.
Thank you, Chairman. Assistant RD, I just wanted to state that this issue might not be exclusive to Tinian, but probably part of the reason why these positions are hard to fill is because they're severely under, the compensation is really low. Even the prevailing wages for a lot of these jobs are 2 times higher than what the government is offering. The prevailing wage for a building inspector is 23.10 per hour. It's about like 40-some thousand, and we're offering 25,000. And I firmly believe we need to have that building inspector here. So, maybe making the request to the secretary to increase that ungraded position from 25 to 47 or 45 would probably increase the applicants, especially when you have a lot of military contractors and jobs on the private sector. The equipment operator, 15,834. That's like 609 per paycheck. That's severely low. And
Yeah, take home is probably like 4 because of taxes.
Yep. And why are we workers? So we'll probably gonna have to see what we can do with that, but that's a waste of time for how many announcing it and nobody's biting, and you could see why. It's like you can't live off of this. And heavy equipment operator is not just any job that you can, it takes years of training and skill, especially on sand. Sand is like the hardest soil to work with. So we definitely need to update our salary scale for some of these positions. And whether it's equipment operator 1 to 3, it's still way below what we should be paying them. Thank you, sir.
Can I just clarify real quick? So the building inspector, when we sent out the RFP for announcement, we did attach a memo to increase it to 33. It's not 40, but we were being a bit conservative, only to increase the chances of it being approved from 25. But we to increase it to 33. And then just to clarify, in terms of like the competition that's out there, at the time that we were trying to fill the positions, these candidates were ready and available to take up the positions. But because of the delay for each position in the process of routing for approvals, that delay kind of pushed them towards seeking another opportunity. During the interviews, we do try our best. We were honest enough to tell them that the private sector is offering much more, but we do try our best to entice them in terms of holiday, like Rep. Flores was talking about, the benefits of working for the government, holiday pay, weekends, and all of that. But unfortunately, it's really due to the delay in the processing at the time. At this point, I think it's too late. The competition is well advertised out there, and the only solution, like he said, is to increase these salaries of these positions, because it is sad to see the staff go out there in the sun and work really hard just to take home $400 or $500 to take home to the family. It is sad. At times we do find ourselves taking money out of our pocket just to fill in the gaps in terms of supplies, drinks out there in the field, just to boost their morale and encourage them to keep coming to work and keep doing it for a bigger purpose in terms of serving our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep.
Chair,
Castro. Rep. Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, resident Assistant Resident Director? Okay. Okay, got it. I'm looking at your budget, and Rep. Manny and I share the same sentiment about the wages and the compensation. Can you describe to me what an equipment operator one does? What is their duty?
So an equipment operator, one within the roads and grounds would operate a light equipment, light vehicles. So that's the pickup trucks,
Okay.
the tractors, the zero turns, the riding mowers.
Do they require a special license for that?
Uh, I don't think there is a special requirement for a tractor.
All right. So it's just the basic kind of hiring, just nothing really heavy, no tonnage, no CDL requirement, nothing like that.
No,
Okay.
not as much as a solid waste site.
Okay, so what about the heavy equipment operator two?
So now we're talking about heavier equipment, right?
Okay.
So I believe there are regulations in terms of being certified to operate these equipment. However, due to the circumstances in terms of budget, the availability of candidates out there that apply for the position, we in both divisions train in-house, and we'd have some veterans within our department to train these new applicants. And so far, they've been operating the equipment really good. They know the do's and don'ts. They know the safety precautions that they need to take, and we do try our best to try and train them as much.
Okay. So I don't see here a mechanic. Do they also do that kind of work? Maintain the equipment
They're expected to a certain extent.
to a certain
Yeah,
extent?
because once you go internally within the engine, that takes specialists.
Okay.
So as far as hydraulic hoses and whatnot, we leave it up to our two mechanics that we have right now. One of which is Mayor's MOU that's assisting the department.
Okay. I know that, one of the things you mentioned was that the disparity between Rhoda's 10 employees that cover their community, but with all the activity happening over here, it makes sense to also match that number, right? I was going to make a comment before you said that number that, maybe one of the things, and that's why I asked what their duty was as a equipment operator 1 and 2, because now that they're working for private sector, they're obviously making way more money than if they were going to work for the government in their capacity. But one of the things maybe we could have considered, at that time, because again, internal chaos and lack of procedure, I assume, I guess, I'm not sure, but we need to obviously ask when we get back to Saipan. But one of the things too is maybe encouraging, they could maybe get a business license for a separate kind of service, right? Whatever the job entails, but that will also allow this number, right, to just be there, but you have more space because you can code them somewhere else. And if it doesn't require a certification or anything like that, they can come and do this stuff during, let's say, the weekend or when they're really off, right? Because anything more than 80 hours is overtime. So that's just something to play around with, that thought, because like I said, there's so much potential here. And as Chairman said, to balance and encourage people to work to the private sector because the pay is so much better. But how do you entice them to stay in the government when the pay is so low, but the benefits are so great, right? In private sector, if you don't work, you don't get paid. Simple as that. And the government also allows these holidays, and you still get paid for that. So I get it. I understand why they opted to take a job. They need to feed their house. But we'll make sure that we look into this problem area. You said your priorities are gas and staffing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my next question is, You said here, in, I guess, I don't know. What other rental equipment? You have $20,000 for heavy equipment. What are those equipments?
Okay. So as of right now, we have one bulldozer at the landfill. We don't have a dump truck. It's currently down. We did budget for the rental of these, another dozer and a dump truck, just in case those equipment or the bulldozer goes down.
Okay.
And we've had an experience where the landfill caught on fire only because we lacked the funding to properly spread it and cover the trash timely. And at that time, the bulldozer was down for a couple of months.
Okay.
And luckily, we were able to bring it back online with additional staffing from the roads and grounds to be assisting the solid waste.
Okay, so on machinery, it's 15,000, and then you have rental equipment at 20. What is the machinery here? What is that? What is this supposed to support? More rental? Yeah,
I see rental heavy equipment at 20 for roads and
Correct.
grounds and 25, right, on the solid waste.
I'm just looking at the operations, maintenance as machinery. So this is going to probably be used for other departments.
Oh, is it the machinery, tools,
Yeah.
and equipment?
It just says machinery, 15,000.
Yeah. Okay, so that is for the roads and grounds.
Okay.
So those are budgeted to purchase floor jacks, hydraulic jack stands, and all of that. And these tools and equipments are not cheap.
Yeah.
They're pretty pricey.
Okay, I just wanted to know what the difference was again, because when the chairman reconvenes, we want to understand what it is that these object codes are so that we don't make an error and, provide more chaos
Yeah.
to what is already chaotic at this point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Being RD Borja, thank you again. We will clarify the position, not only clarify, but try to ensure that FTE of the building code is, that's our priority right now. And also to reinstate those FTEs that we did give DPW those positions, and we'll find ways again to either do it from that end or continue the FTE on this side. No, so with that being none, thank you again, RD, for making yourself present. I'll give you the floor one more time for your closing remark if you have any. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Chairman, for your proposed assistance again and the committee members. Just to clarify on Rep. Costume, Kamatsu, you spoke about ASADRA coming in, right, and then some of the positions to be funded through ASADRA. But just to keep in mind that with the nature of federal funding, there is a limit to the availability of funds, so those positions will eventually become unfunded as soon as the funds are exhausted. So our goal is to try and get them in as a civil service and get them that protection so that we can ensure continuity within the operations and to address the increase in activity that's anticipated for Tinian. Thank you. With that, I would just like to thank you for your time for coming over to Tinian, and I'm sure we'll all prepare for the Senate version of their budget hearing.
Yes, which is a different one. But yes, thank you again, RD, for making yourself present. And with that, we'll take a 1-minute recess, and we'll have the Department of Public Safety prepare. Thank you, members. Thank you, members. We're back, and before Department of Public Safety was a budget request, and before us we have Sergeant or Acting Director of Finance, si Uenyu, RD Renew Villagomez. So with that, I understand you can't really answer much with the department's questions, no, because kulang bula level. But we'll take in your request, then the department priority, then the challenges, no? Because we'll try to minimize the questions sa tisinya bulan answer na question. No, thank you, Pes BU Parago po.
Okay, good morning, Honorable Chairman and esteemed members of this committee. My name is Sergeant Wally Villagomez, and I'm here on behalf of my director, who is currently off island. I extend my heartfelt gratitude for the opportunity to address to you today. As Acting Director of Department of Public Safety on Tinian, I stand before you with a profound sense of duty and urgency. Our mission to safeguard the well-being of the people of Tinian rests heavily on the resources we allocate. Our budget proposal for fiscal year 2025 reflects our unwavering commitment to maintaining law and order, enhancing emergency response readiness, and strategic community outreach programs. However, I must emphasize that we face critical challenges. The demand for public safety services has surged significantly, while our current staffing levels remain insufficient to meet these demands effectively. Urgently, we are require additional officers to boost our patrol capabilities, respond promptly to emergencies, and address community concerns. Without adequate staffing, our ability to maintain public safety will be compromised. By securing the requested 14 FT positions, we fortify our resilience, enhance preparedness, and ensure the safety of our residents. Presently, we have 15 sworn police officers, but 3 are on the verge of leaving. These resignations underscore the urgent need for recruitment and training. An academy is essential to replenish our ranks. Some officers seek opportunities elsewhere, while others grapple with financial strain, living paycheck to paycheck. The strain is evident. Many officers work extended hours, leading to fatigue and overwork. Securing the requested position is not a mere administrative matter. It is a critical step forward maintaining the safety and well-being of our community. Moreover, the Department of Public Safety cannot work with the proposed budget cut, especially if it involves cutting officers' hours from 86 down to 84. This will likely result in resignations and officers seek better opportunities elsewhere. As I mentioned earlier, without adequate staffing, our ability to maintain public safety will severely compromise. DPS cannot operate with a zero operational budget. We find ourselves at a crossroads where essential services such as fuel for our patrol vehicles and routine maintenance are at risk. How can we serve the people of Tinian effectively when we lack the means to keep our fleet operational? Responding to emergency calls becomes impossible without the necessary resources. If DPS faces service interruptions due to budget constraints, public trust erodes. Community safety becomes compromised. We cannot solely rely on the mayor's office. as they too have competing priorities. The mayor's office faces its own budgetary limitations and has multifaceted responsibilities, including infrastructure development, community programs, and administrative functions. While the mayor recognizes the paramount importance of public safety, we extend our sincere gratitude for all the assistance his office has provided to the Department of Public Safety. We fully understand that other pressing matters also vie for attention, and we appreciate and delicate balance required in serving our community comprehensively. It is essential for DPS to have a dedicated operational budget to ensure stability and continuity. Furthermore, our operational budget is vital for covering essential expenses beyond personal costs. One critical component is our electric bill, which average approximately $60 per day. Without sufficient funding, we risk service interruptions, compromising our ability to respond promptly to emergencies. In conclusion, I implore your support in addressing this staffing challenge and securing the necessary operational budget. Together, we can ensure that Tinian remains a safe haven for its residents, even in the face of adversity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm ready to answer any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Acting Director Villagomez. The 14 FTEs, I guess, and that's just to go back to the last fiscal year's, I guess, FTEs that were not, or the vacancies that were taken out and dollar funded. That's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Just a question: should the committee grant this committee and possibly the Senate counterpart filling the F14 FTEs? Did we get any confirmation with regards to the next cycle with the new, I guess, commissioner of DPS? Is there one coming up soon? Should that FTEs be reinstated?
Yes, well, I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago when I took this acting capacity. We did discuss that if there's available at least 20, like 20 cadets or 20 FTs for Tinian, then we can have an academy on Saipan since all the resources are up there.
Okay, and I guess something the chief can answer is normally we go through the process of WIA, correct, before we put them back in the. Is that something that I guess or is there any conversation between Secretary of Labor and helping out with should that be available, filling up those positions?
I actually met with.
Or either one, yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it's. I actually met with Francis Torres, the
Okay.
director of WIA, yesterday morning. So we discussed and we came up with a plan. This September, we're going to kick off like a flyer and a program to invite the applicants and talk to them about public safety and encourage them to apply for cadets and help us out with to start off an academy.
And was there any discussion as to how far WIA can cover before the general fund takes into effect?
No plans yet, but yeah, we're gonna start communicating like by next week, just
Okay.
through emails and.
Okay. That's all we need to, I guess, get confirmation is how many can WIA cover and how long can they cover before the general fund takes over. and this way we can at least get a fiscal impact and see if we can fund the remaining of, and I believe it's 6 months. I'm not mistaken, 6 months.
6 months to a year.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, I would like to hear that communication. I will talk to the Secretary of Labor as to, and Miss Francis, to see how long would the program last and how long can they fund before we have to fund the remaining. Thank you for that. I'll open up to the members. Rep. Sablan.
Thank you, Chairman, and thanking RD for being here. I know that you have just mentioned earlier that you have had open discussion already with the Commissioner of DPS and working with WIA also as well. But I know that you mentioned that according to the Commissioner, that if you have 20 candidates already, perhaps a academy can be proceeded, right? And I know that with the academy involves also our community college, right? So I know you mentioned that you might be sending these individuals to Saipan, but are there any discussion made that maybe perhaps the academy can happen here, since there's an NMC facility here and it's perhaps less cost, right? Because when you go to Saipan, you're going to have to find a housing for these 20 individuals. So just to cut costs and maybe try to get into that discussion with the Commissioner of DPS and NMC as well, if they can provide the instructors this way, and so that you don't have to look for housing for these individuals. They live here anyways in Tinian, and that would perhaps cut costs. Thank you, and I yield, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Sablan. Rep. Castro.
Yes, the community coordinator or the coordinator for criminal justice program, which includes the police academy at NMC, is Ms. Zerlin Taimano. And in working with Ms. Maria Ogun, I believe that is very possible what Chairman John Paul has mentioned. Perhaps it can have most of the in-class, the law, and all the other academic courses here on Tinian, and then when it comes down to firing and other drill, which at the shooting range, they can do a weekend trip if that's not available here. But minimum for a class is usually 10, and if you have 20, that's more than you can, make it happen. There's also the CNMI scholarship, which they can avail to, and FAFSA. Thank you.
So yeah, just to clarify that, so we did have an academy at one point here, the Combined Law Enforcement Academy, and that's a good point what you guys brought up. And I'll be meeting with him again this Friday, and I'll bring it up to him that it's gonna, for the cost efficient, just have it here. Yeah, thank you.
Castro, any further?
Chair, you.
Any takers? Okay. So just so we're clear, I guess we're not gonna go into detail with regards to the budget allocation because it's pretty much the same as last fiscal year. In FTEs, and as well as, I guess, like everybody, the fuel is very important. So is there any also, is the communication, getting better with the new commissioner as to the needs of the department in Tinian? With regards to fuel or any other operation, no
Yes,
cost?
I've reached out to him, asked for assistance for our power. So he's working on it at this time.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking at the department's federal funds. Obviously, there's funding here. It's just a matter of tapping which one you want to look at. My concern is the fuel, because obviously you need fuel to patrol the island.
Yes.
And that's one of the priorities. If there's no fuel, we can't, go around or patrol. So I just want to be clear with that one, that we are ensuring that the island of Tinian is not having a difficult time getting the fuel for the patrols, as well as does the island have police boat too as well, or is it only in Saipan?
Yes, we do have one police boat.
Okay, thank you. Recognize Representative Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. I just have a question, acting. Do you have in your, I guess, in your unit or in anyone in DPS, someone that's identified to handle VAWA cases, victims of violence? Do you have someone assigned as a coordinator for that?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe one of the things we need to look at is maybe send, let your, obviously you're acting, maybe reach out to Chief Justice Castro and let him know that there are still some untapped funds there, but that is supposed to be given to DPS Tinian. And that is coming out from the Criminal Justice Planning Agency. And I do believe that a percentage of that should be given to Tinian as it's identified there. But I know that that is very specific for that grant, so you must have one individualized person to entertain those individuals. And then I think that's it. Can I just ask a question? How many cars do you have in your fleet?
We have 19 total.
19?
Yeah, but we have 19 total, 12 that are just about to, their mileage is high. Yeah, and then we have 7 that are out of service.
So if you were to purchase any more vehicles, that would have to come from local funds. Can you provide maybe, I guess, your procurement and supply would have, or unless you have an internal custody of your fleet inventory, and do you have the appreciated and depreciated value of all of those? I mean, the depreciated value, sorry, and then when it was purchased, because that would give us an idea, right? I mean, you don't want to be going up Marple Heights for a crime scene and then the car breaks down because your car was bought in 2009, and that should be converted over to a newer vehicle. And then and I guess if you can give that list to my committee or their committee, that would be good to know, because there are some vehicles in our central government fleet, I believe, that were purchased through ARPA funds that possibly we can give Department of Public Safety. I totally believe that the Department of Public Safety throughout the CNMI has been underfunded for way too long. And it's an injustice that you're the front line for protecting our community, yet you're in here every time asking for support to keep your community safe. So thank you, Chairman. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. Any further from the members? Thank you.
Chair?
Yes.
I just wanted to share, I believe they started fueling our boarding safety units whenever we go to Saipan. BSU does provide, from the particular grant that they're getting, provide fuel for the boarding safety operations. The other one that is of concern that I've brought to my attention was this purchasing of these cars after FEMA. So then it's very disturbing that now we're expected to pay 90,000 for this purchasing of this vehicle, because somebody purchased this vehicle for us and gave it to us in lieu of what was damaged during the FEMA. And this also, I believe, goes to our ambulance that was fixed So now we're in a deep hole, and I continue to reply to them that the municipality didn't open any signature or contracts to all of these fleets that came out here, and some of these vehicles are no longer in Tinian. They were transferred to Saipan. Just a point to let the members know that they're trying to collect 90,000.
And the 90,000 is for work done here in Tina,
No,
or
for
work
the
in Saipan?
vehicles.
The new vehicles.
Back then, when it was purchased right after FEMA, right after Typhoon Yutu.
Yeah. Was this those triple J vehicles? Don't
No,
know.
they're from GSA,
Okay, okay.
and that's how we were. I believe were banned from getting any from GSA because of that transaction.
So where are
Because
the vehicles?
so about a couple years ago, we during Commissioner Guerrero's term, our acting director at that time came to him, and we wanted to reduce the fuel because these are heavily they eat a lot of fuel.
Right.
These are the Dodge Chargers and SUV. So we didn't want those cars.
Right.
So then we exchanged for like 2-to-1 cars. That's why we ended up having all of these vehicles. But we didn't really want those cars. But somebody purchased them for us, and it was nice, but it's just costing us a lot to operate those vehicles. So we
Right.
changed 2 out of the 4. We changed 2 for, I think, six cars.
So
We
those
sent over.
vehicles are back in Saipan.
They're in Saipan.
And so I'm assuming the Saipan office took care of that 90,000.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. But it's just banning you guys from purchasing any future vehicles.
I think,
Or
Chairman,
this-
the entire cinema
the
is being
cinema.
banned. It's
Okay.
not only they're being banned from purchasing from the GSA.
Okay.
Because I went to Guam directly and I tried to negotiate some of those pickup trucks they have in front of
Right.
their yard. And they look at the paper. Well, no, I'm not. I'm from the cinema, but I'm not from the state. I'm coming in from the municipality.
Right.
Because we go through the state.
Okay, okay. Wow. That's a... Sure. Rep. Sablan?
Just a follow-up, Mayor, the 90,000 that they're asking you to pay is for how many vehicles?
For 4.
Four?
For 4.
4 vehicles, okay.
Because it was not fully paid. There were some outside the contract, I think, like shipping, and because they had to ship it to Saipan, then
Right.
Saipan to Tinian.
So that amount in 90,000 is for 4 vehicles? Is that like a local share? Because this is purchased by FEMA, you said?
Yes.
Was it purchased 100%? So what is the payment for what is the 90,000 paying? Is it paying for shipping, freight costs, or local matching? What, office
You know,
90 is on there? So 90, if you divide that by 4, let's say,
I think that's the balance, Mr. Congressman Sablan. Like I said, it was just somebody in Saipan purchased these things for us, and then they shipped it over. And that's why I told them to go back to where it started, and I believe it's under Homeland Security. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman Ayo.
Thank you for that. Rep. Flores, follow-up?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Mayor, do you know who bought those vehicles for you?
Where the funding came from, all they told us was it's attached to you too.
Okay, so who purchased those cars for you?
I believe it was under the operations. Remember when they set up the GAR and the operations after the typhoon? It was the GAR.
So GAR purchased, okay.
No, no, not guard, the operation side.
The operation side, which is under GAR. Okay. Um, Did you sign off on those documents to receive them?
No,
They just
and
got here and you said send it back?
no, when they got here, we had it for like a couple months, or maybe less than a year, and then that transaction happened when they.
Okay, I just need to, I'm going to ask that as a follow-up because I want to obviously now start asking, because now they're giving you the ticket to pay, the 90,000, and you didn't ask for it. I mean, it wasn't Christmas when you two came, right? It was a bad time, but
And yes, some of our vehicles got damaged, our patrol cars got damaged during U2, and the immediate fix was to purchase from GSA.
okay, so
And those are
that's
the replacement of the vehicles that were
got you.
damaged.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. And is there any other questions? Being there's none, thank you again, Acting Director Sergeant Villagomez, for making yourself present today and presenting the budget request. We will do some follow-ups as to the additional FTEs and with regards to the academy that may happen this year. So we'll look into that and we'll see, we'll also follow up with Ms. Francis as to the I guess the budget that can, I guess, they have and how much, I mean, how long does it last, no? So we'll clarify that, and if everything's good to go, then I'm sure none of us will be objecting to the additional FTEs, and then we'll the funding source in the future. I believe Rep. Marissa's amending the citation law, so maybe that goes back to the department and address the needs here. So she's on top of that. With that, I'll yield back to you, Sergeant, and if you want, you may do a closing remark. Thank you.
All right, thank you, members, for coming over to Tinian and listening to our concerns and what we're going through. It helps us express what we're going through, and that way you guys understand. So when we seek help, we're on the same page, right? Yeah, that's about it. Thank you, and advance July 4th. Stay safe.
Thank you, Sergeant. With that, we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back with defense. Thank you. Test that. So the thing's dead. The mic's dead. Hello, test. Mic. Test. Thank you. Thank you. Test. Okay. Thank you, members. We are back, and before us, we have the resident director, Raymond De La Cruz. Thank you, RD, for making yourself present today to present your budget requests. I guess your department is the only one compared to last year has increased. So I think we have no more questions. Sa Manoy, almost kana todo. Lo, thank you again for making yourself present, and I'll to you for your opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the Ways and Means Committee. For the record, my name is Raymond T. De La Cruz, and I am the Resident Deputy Commissioner for Station 6, DFEMS Tinian. The Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services consists of dedicated personnel that represents and the values, the ethnic diversity of our community. We are committed to the highest standards to protect the lives and property of the people of the CNMI from dangers of fires, natural disasters, and hazardous material incidents, saving lives by providing emergency medical services, and to prevent fires through prevention and education programs. In a timely delivery of these services enables our department to make significant contribution to the health and safety of our community, free of harassment and discrimination. We strive to deliver with the utmost excellence and compassionate services in an atmosphere that encourages innovation, professional development, and diversity. With this being said, our department would like to ask this body to fully fund our proposal for fiscal years 2025. My personnel still needs to be trained off island for OJT. I still have 2 EMTs that need to be evaluated and 2 that needs to do a refresher course in order for them to be able to assist patients. I have no funding to send them off island for certification. This puts me in a position to incur overtime. At the same time, I have no funding for operations, which forces me to use my revolving funds for fuel, utilities, office supplies, when I can use such funds to get my staff fully certified. Thank you.
Thank you, RD De La Cruz. I did mention earlier that your budget has increased from last fiscal year. And I know the main issue has always been is going to be operation. And I understand you're using the revolving account. So with regards to the balances that was submitted to us, is that, I mean, from the budget submittal, is that accurate?
For our revolving funds?
Yes.
So currently for our fire code, as of today, our balance is 2,695.90 cents. For our ambulance, as of today, it's 3,350.75 cents. But even with this money that we have in the revolving funds, it's still not enough for us for just this year we had 27 fires, and it used up most of our funds for fuel.
Okay.
We have big engines.
Yes. And your fire engines, I mean, none of them they're all, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, last fiscal year, there was one down, or I forgot.
No, both our trucks are in operation.
In operation?
Yes.
Okay.
And then this weekend, we should be receiving one more mini pumper.
Okay.
And a jet ski.
Is that the one that was published in the papers a couple of days ago? Or
yes,
yesterday?
CDBG.
Okay. Thank you. Let me recognize the Chair for JGO, Rep. Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. So on your special funds, your fire safety code, this is used for other expenses. What can you use on this other expenses account?
Sorry. We can use it for office supplies
Uh-huh.
and fuel.
And fuel?
Yes.
Okay. What does that process look like if you wanted to, let's say, draw down $10,000 from this special account? Take me through that process.
We still have to go through the Munis process.
Okay, so you would have to put in your submission through Munis, wait for 15 people to sign off,
And pray that it goes through,
and pray that it goes through.
if the money's there.
Okay.
And then for our ambulance fee, mostly we can only use it for medical supplies. But we've requested that if we can use them also for utilities as well. But we can still use our ambulance fees for fuel, just for the ambulance itself.
Okay, so there's no reprogramming authority here. You can't reprogram from one account to the other.
But we don't need to. It doesn't require us to do line item
Okay.
purchase orders.
Okay,
So they'll allow us to go into a zero funded account and then they would just
okay,
balance out at the end.
okay. And then your revolving fund, again, you have other expenses that's up there, and you can use that,
For utilities as well.
utilities as well.
Yeah.
Now, it shows that you've zeroed on your operations supplies. You've also zeroed on your fuel, zeroed on travel, zeroed on your communication, and your freight. Only thing left are other expenses, which is pretty much 40 some, almost 50,000 at your disposal right now. But that's not enough based on your budget.
Okay, if I may, going back to the ambulance fees. So the way the process goes for this ambulance fees is whenever it goes to a contractor, right? So Tinian, Saipan, and Rhoda. So whenever we respond, we have an ambulance run. It goes to a billing company, then it has to go to another contractor. The process it's almost like Munis. But anyway, so, and it takes forever for our money to come into the ambulance fee because the system is not accurate when it comes to breaking down which runs belong to which islands. Yeah, so it's a very tedious process where defense has to work with the contractors to say, okay, which runs are Tinians, which one is Rhoda, which one is Tinian.
Okay, so on the contractor, are you responsible for bidding your contractor, or is that made in Saipan, and then how does that?
That's, I believe it goes through a bidding process.
Okay.
And we did, it's under Zoltz, and from what I know that the new contract has not been signed yet with Zoltz for the billing company. And
So what happens now when someone needs an ambulance and you have to bill?
we go back to the same system again where they have to find out, we have to say, okay, this is our runs. So
So obviously you have a log sheet of all these runs.
yes.
What happens to these log sheets? Do you freight over the log sheets to finance? How?
It's online. We do everything by
Okay.
computer.
By Munis
Yeah,
right now?
not by Munis, by Zoltz.
Results, okay. And you have access to that?
Yes.
And then all that information is uploaded, entered into
Yes.
that system?
Mhm.
And then that system talks to somebody, and then they approve it, and then from there you can draw down.
Right, then that's when they say, okay, this is how much belongs to Tinian, Rhoda, and Saipan.
The contractor says that.
Yeah, depending on how much runs we have. So it's all, we only get our money with whatever runs Tinian has. So if
Correct.
we only have 2 runs for this year, we only get that much money.
Right. Okay, I'm just trying to think in terms of accountability, because you're talking about some incidences where they don't know whose runs is who. And so that's probably one of the biggest things we need to figure out, right? And I'm trying to understand if it's going into the system and it's entered into the system, then why are they trying to figure out?
It's just the way ZOLS the ZOLS is made out to work. It's there's no actual identifier for which runs belong to which island. So
What is that, an acronym, or can you spell that out for me, please?
ZOLLS. Yes, it's a company. Yes, most of the ambulance companies in the United States use ZOLS also
ZOLS,
for
okay.
billing purposes.
Okay. And then all your staff is at 106 hours also?
No, ma'am. Since we started 2024, my staff is down to 96 hours, and myself and my admin is at 70 hours.
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vacant positions.
Yeah, so with my staff being at 96, I know that Saipan defense, they're up at their full 106 and 112, 120 hours, even with the the commissioner and the deputy being at 80 hours. I myself am only at 70, but there's times where I have to come in and work. I have to cover down a shift where I have to respond, and then I just don't get compensated for it. But I guess it is what it is.
Oh, boy. So your biggest expenses here are repair and maintenance, besides the salary. Repair and maintenance, machinery. And then what is this machinery? Is this all part of repair and maintenance too, or is this to purchase machinery, lease machinery? What is that?
That's also to purchase machineries for we need a big air compressor for our fire trucks. A 60-gallon, 20-gallon air compressor would not inflate our tires on the field, just in case we're low on air.
Have you provided the OMB with your, I guess, budget justification for that?
Yes.
And it included 3 quotes?
No, ma'am.
No, it didn't. Maybe one of the things that you can do is go ahead and provide that, because then, there's a need for that. Again, if you don't have air in your fire truck, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's part of how you provide your service.
Yeah.
It's an essential.
Right. And part of the machinery also is we're trying to get a refill station for our station here for our SCBAs. Right now, we don't have any, so we have to send it up to Saipan. So if we respond to any structure fires and we consume all our bottles, our SCBAs, we have to ship it back up to Saipan again for refill. And then that just takes off the shipping it up to Saipan. And then what happens if there's a back-to-back structure fire?
And that's probably going to cost 25,000.
It's more in the 250 something.
And what is an SBA? Can you
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Self-contained, okay.
Yes.
Oh, so that's the
Our
equipment that's
backpack.
provide, okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
Our lifeline when we go in.
yeah. And how many of these equipments do you need for all of your firefighters, I'm assuming?
So if we were to respond to a structure fire, depending on what alarm it is, for each firefighter would need 2 bottles.
2 bottles, okay.
So with 21 firefighters, it's
Okay. What are your top priorities, sir, for your agency?
my top priorities right now is for all my, as you know, Tinian is growing. We have the military build up here. We have the population growing, right? We don't really have enough manpower, and with no fundings, we can't even train our personnel. Update them on new training practices. That's one of my priorities. My second priority is trying to get all my guys, my EMTs, as a nationally registered EMTs. And my other priority is trying to get my personnel back to 106 hours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Sir Ayub.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. Any member with regards to the budget submittal? Yeah, nothing. Wow. Being there's none, RD, I guess my last question is just the communication with the commissioner. Is it with any requests? Is it smooth? Is there, I guess, barricades? I mean, obviously fuel is going to be the main issue here. If there any, so my question is just the communication with the new commissioner.
Look, we have no problems at all. We communicate clearly. We speak the same language, fire language. So as far as requesting for anything from my side, Commissioner Pua, and Deputy Messingan are very helpful.
Okay. And with regards to like the utilities, because your utilities request is very high, is the department up to date? Is there any outstanding balances with the?
No, we're on a prepaid.
Prepaid.
So we have like 169 days to go,
Okay.
with a balance of about $4,500.
Okay, so that's at least you know how many when to request. No, so we're just trying to fill in that gap and try to avoid those issues like what happened here last fiscal year, and we don't want to experience that again and be put under the pressure, as to how to help very fast when everything is cut. Yeah,
I try to be on top of things because the days go by real fast.
okay. I have nothing further. Only I guess the request of trying to increase the hours. I think we're gonna have to look at that. The same with DPS and fire. I know I know there's TAP grants coming around, and maybe that can cover the remaining hours. The law hasn't changed. You guys are still receiving your minimum hours, and then the grants can cover the rest. So we're gonna have to clarify that with Secretary of Finance when she does come in next week, just so we get an update as to where we're at with those. Obviously, safeties are number one priority too. So when you have, like yourself, 70 hours, it doesn't help the community, and they don't want to call you when you're off, and then there's a big issue. So we're going to clarify that with the grants that's supposed to cover the remaining of the year, or to make up for the differences. So being there's none further, Leader San Nicolas, you have a question?
No, I don't have questions, Mr. Chairman. I have a comment to make before the deputy makes his closing remarks. Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this committee, I respectfully request that you consider the budget request submitted by the Office of the Mayor and the various departments for the upcoming fiscal year. Honorable members, these funds are essential to provide critical public services, ensure public safety, and support well-being of our community. And I ask and I urge you to carefully review the request and allocate the necessary resources to meet the needs of the community. This request is clear, concise, and emphasizes the importance of providing essential services. It also shows that we have done, or you have done, your due diligence by reviewing the request, and I ask now, and I seek the committee's consideration. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reps. Nicholas. I think we're all in the same boat here. You're a part of the committee, so I expect a strong fight for you this fiscal year. So, taza ay gitib no or I the eyes. Oh, thank you for that, Leader San Nicolas. Yes, we are going to look at this carefully, and willing to work with you and when we deliberate the next couple of weeks. No, so with that, Artie, if you want to closing remark, you may do so now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity to present myself today. As we all know, the population of Tinian is still growing with the military buildup that is happening. DFM Station 6 consists of 21 firefighters/EMTs, but even with this, we do not meet the demand to entertain the general public. I hope that this body will find funding to meet our request for fiscal year 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a war zone with what is happening globally, and at the same time, we have Mother Nature who can become unpredictable. We are first responders, and having no funding to operate puts us on a shortage of resources to meet whatever calamity should arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Artie. And being there's none further, I would like to personally thank Mayor Odon for having his staff available for us. Thank you for the last night's event. Enjoy your company. Also like to thank Leader San Nicolas and his wonderful half for providing the Ways and Means with dinner the last couple of days. So I'm very appreciative of that. And as well, I want to thank all our staff here, our two legislative assistants, Cam and Nick, our fiscal analysts, TG, as well as John, our IT. To my right, I thank the council, Halahan. Did we drink last night, Halahan? Or no, we weren't together last night. Okay. Our Sergeant at Arms, Pete, Tawai, thank you. And also the members for making their way back here to the island of Tinian. You know, we always appreciate coming here and you know, I always invite the members to come and look at each island so that they can understand. And I believe Rep. Flores, this is our first trip to both the islands, and it was a nice opener. So I appreciative that she joined us today. And thank you again, everyone. With that, is there any further for closing? Rep. Flores?
Thank you, Chairman. And, you know, I just also would like to extend my gratitude to the mayor and his staff and his team for coming out and sharing their concern and their priorities with us. As much as they didn't want to share the problems that they face, it's only fair that they're transparent and they're honest. We have a very daunting task to ensure that our sister islands of Rhode and Tinian are also provided the supports they need so that they can serve their community best in whatever way that is, as we said, and as we all agree, that Rhoda knows Rhoda, Tinian knows Tinian. And it would be an injustice if we put ourselves in a situation to assume that we know what is best. We can provide our input, but in no way should this committee engage in fully discussing what either of those islands needs. Again, it's their senatorial district, and with all due respect, they have their representatives representing them. So I'm sure with Rep. Ogo and Rep. San Nicolas, both in this committee, they would advocate strongly for their senatorial district. And once again, Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you to your team, Rep. San Nicolas. Thank you again for providing this Ways and Means Committee your time and the hands that prepared the food on the first night. So thank you again, and thank you to Tinian. Thank you, Chairman. I yield.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. Rep. Angelo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, thank you for your hospitality here on Tinian. I am pretty sure the people of Tinian and Rhoda share the same sentiments. We were just there last week, and it was mentioned that the people of Rhoda feel like this is just a formality. I just want to make it clear that this body here will do its due diligence to conduct a fair budget for all senatorial districts. So thank you for your understanding, and God bless the Sinamay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Angelo. Rep. Manny?
First of all, thank you, Mayor, and all the RDs, members of your cabinet, and staff that were out here today and the previous day. Also, thank you to the Municipal Council, and most especially thank you to Leader San Nicolas for hosting. Thank you to your family as well. And thank you to the people of Tinian for your continued public service. And I also look forward to working with Mayor and Chief on some of these initiatives in line with the vision of the municipality and the Sinamay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Hanley. Rep. Sablan?
Thank you, Chairman, Mayor, to you as well, and the people of the island of Tinian and your staff. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for a great hospitality. It's always been great to always come to the island of Tinian. People are always very hospitable, and I also want to thank my good colleague here, Rep. San Nicolas, for hosting our colleagues for the past 2 nights, and also to his lovely wife and his family. Well, I can assure you that we have taken notes on all the priorities and the needs of each department, and we are all going to do our best to deliver what is needed here in the island of Tinian. Thank you so much, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Rep. Sablan. Rep. San Nicolas, did you want to have a final? Oh, you did. Thank you again, and thank you, everybody. I will now adjourn today at 12:21 p.m. Thank you.